All right. It is just after 7. I figured we'd start with any kind of question and answer, any kind of issues that are happening, ways you are looking to do something, things you don't understand, or any questions that we have. We can always start with that. You can put them in the chat, or you can let us know. I know Roxanne had a conference call with Nick at lunch for some questions. I hope those got resolved. If not, we can certainly talk about that. I don't know if I can help you, but I certainly would try.
Sure. I actually do have a question kind of that came up today. Under the labs tab, when you're on a lab and you're reading the results and then you want to send a task, is there any way to get to the patient's chart other than having to go in and type their information in?
Let's take a look. I don't know if I have any labs, but I think I know what you mean.
Maybe if you have any outstanding ones, or it would be if you hit the lab.
Am I okay? Yes, I'm not on mute. I apologize. This is Jennifer. I am on. And we're talking, and I want to apologize. I'm having a little bit of a hard time hearing you, Dr. Burgess. And we are referring to pathology labs.
Yeah, how do they get their pathology labs?
Yeah, pathology labs.
Dr. Hodos, I think you and I had discussed what we've been working on until the Broward interface is set up is that we're actually, because they're creating a lab order, so that, and then assigning it to InStride Labs, and then we are putting that document right back into the lab and reassigning it back to the doctor so they can close out that entire lab loop.
Yeah, that's just my two labs to be reviewed. I can click on that patient, and then I can see the report. There's stay fungus. So I want to send my prescription, call my MA, call the patient, or whatever, do them on follow-up appointment. So I couldn't figure out a way to get to the patient's chart, other than physically closing out of it, remembering his name, a date of birth, and then searching under the patient search bar.
Yeah, I agree. I see what you're seeing here too.
And hi, it's Jennifer again. Can you repeat the question or the workflow that you're looking for? And I apologize. I'm just having a hard time hearing Dr. Burgess.
I think I understand. It is that here she gets her report and can see it and sign off on it, but now she wants to go to the patient's chart so she can maybe make an action or maybe message the patient or something. What's the way to get to the patient's chart from this screen? You know, so many of these little screens will have a hub or a button, but this one doesn't seem to.
Yeah, you're correct. If you wanted from here, and we have looked, the only way I can see would be either to reassign this lab to the MA. If you don't mind my asking, Dr. Hodos, can you hit the green arrow to the right, up at the very top of the pop-up box?
I'm sorry, Dr.
Saying. Burgess.
Yeah. And the down arrow too. Hit the down arrow too, up at the top right. Hit both of those.
Let's see what happens. But that doesn't do all.
There we go.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. Awesome, Jennifer. Good job. I never use those arrows, ever.
Good, learn something new.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. That will come up again. Terrific.
Okay, that answers my question then.
Super.
That's much nicer. Because going through today was a big headache, and I didn't finish them. So, okay.
Awesome.
Well, I guess that answers my question then.
Okay.
You want me to unshare my screen?
You're welcome to, sure. How about you, Dr. Ward?
I haven't done anything on this yet, so I'm a total infant when it comes to this. But did you do on InStride TV the going through a note and stuff last time? Because I didn't get a chance to watch that.
I did. We got sidetracked, during it, but I did. And the first InStride TV is a top to bottom look at an entire note as well.
Okay, I think I did watch the first one.
Yeah, and then last InStride Live, we talked about a number of things, but then I did go down through a note and we talked about templates and order sets a bit, and ordering like a night splint and an injection.
Okay, I'll watch those. And also with now, when you got into the order sets and the templates, did you have to modify them very much to get them to be to your liking?
I made all mine from scratch because I went first, and you're welcome to use any of them from anybody. It really is something that there are a ton of templates and there are a bunch of order sets and I bet you can start with ones that are already there. There are a ton. Here we go. I'll share my screen again. So there are a ton of order sets and templates that other people in InStride have done. I don't think you will find that there are any beneficial order sets or templates that were done by any other group. The central office I know did a bunch, but there are a ton. Dr. Burgess has been using @RB, so she's got a bunch of order sets here. I've got a couple, although I don't use too many yet. I've made some for plantar fasciitis that have the medicines I like to use and the Xrays I like to take and the injections I do. And I know Dr. Judge has made a bunch. He's got one with incision and drainage codes and follow-ups. I really think that making order sets and anything you can do to limit the amount of searching you have to do, it saves a ton of time. So if you can, look at any of these order sets, these ones that begin with Z, they were the ones that were present when we got the system, and none of them really applied. So I think we asked them, or we went through and added a Z to all of them, so they would show up at the bottom. But this whoever SAM is, this is it. You got an order set, and all it's got is just a couple things in it. I think making an order set with a million different things or a template with a million different things is not good. They're free. Make a whole bunch of them with lots of little things. Make them your favorites by clicking the star, and then they show up in your favorite order sets in this side of your screen. I don't use too many. I'm slowly coming around to them. I use way more templates than order sets for me right now. But you can go to where you work on your order sets, your templates, right? And these are just my favorite templates, but you could look at all the templates they've made a bunch. InStride has made a bunch with different post-op visits and things on it that you can start with and then modify to your liking. So there are a ton. Dr. Judge has made a bunch. I've made a bunch. So you'll find a lot of different templates in here, some of them with just one or two things in them and some of them with several things in them. And you'll decide, I like to make my notes like this, and you'll pick and choose from what you like.
And we had our second provider training this morning, and they're all about, when they're telling you they're not too savvy about podiatry, but they would say you order an X-ray. But I mean, how do you, like, if you order an X-ray, you put in the findings. I didn't see where they do that.
So Dr. Burgess, if you do this, any of this different, please let me know. But everything you want to get paid for in ECW, except for E&M codes, you have to order. So just like in Epic and other big systems, when you want to have something or have something done, you have to order it. So, for example, let's say I have an assessment here of plantar fasciitis, right? You will find that ordering X-rays, medicines, labs really only work when you already have the diagnosis entered. That's I think a fault, but you can't order the X-ray until you have a diagnosis, which is fine. You can tell your assistant to get the X-ray and get your X-ray and add your diagnosis and the order for the X-ray later. That's fine. But when you order something, lab, imaging, procedure, have the diagnosis first. We order our X-rays here in the treatment. So diagnoses, prescriptions, labs, imaging, procedures, and referrals. So here we would order an X-ray. So I'm going to order an X-ray for plantar fasciitis, and I'm going to order 2 views of the left heel. And it's going to verify, yes, I want to use plantar fasciitis, X-ray of the heel, and then I close. And what you'll see now, when we go back to the note, right? Nothing updates in the note until you close all those windows, but you'll see here we have plantar fasciitis. Yeah, we have ordered that image, 2 views of the heel. I'm sure there are some people that like to put their X-ray report in one of these areas, not internal notes, because that doesn't get viewed. I don't like using notes because whenever you type a note, it timestamps it. And I may not get my X-ray done that time or that day, and I'm not keen on having it timestamped. You can probably add it here under the clinical info, and then you go back, and sometimes it shows up and sometimes it doesn't. So what I recommend and what I do every time is I document my X-ray here in procedures. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 X-ray reports. So I'll pick an X-ray report and I'll say, okay, I did an X-ray of the left heel next, and I did a calcaneal axial and a lateral, and I did it because of heel pain. And here is my findings, and then here is my impression. I don't bother signing it. And then when you close this window, right, because nothing gets updated in this encounter window until you close these data entry windows, then you'll have a procedure, and it's labeled X-ray report, and it says what size, the views, indications, impression. I think that looks the best. I think when reviewers and insurance companies want to review your notes, I want to make it as easy as possible for them to find what I have done. So I like writing my X-ray report like that. If I had another X-ray of, the other foot, I would use X-ray report 2. And, that's just a limitation or the design of how the system works, because it doesn't allow you to fill out multiple procedures. We needed to make multiple procedure categories here. A second X-ray, third, or a fourth. Let's say you have 2 of both feet and 3 of both ankles. You're going to have 4 X-ray reports. You end up with 5 X-ray reports. I can't help you. I don't know what's going on. But you have to order an X-ray. You have to order, let's say you want to order a camwalker. So you've got to order this because you want to get paid for it, because it is ordering it that puts it in the billing. Camwalker is L4361, is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So again, plantar fasciitis, walking boot, great, and close. And now I have ordered, we'll see it here, right? X-ray, walking boot. But we can close this, and we can just see that here I have ordered a walking boot. Yeah. Same deal. I have a blurb for my walking boot, right? I'm not keen on entering it here for the same reasons I don't like putting my X-ray report there. So I document it in procedures, and I use this in-office DME procedure category that Jim and I use. I put it here in pneumatic camwalker, and it's for the right side for plantar fasciitis, and they wear it all the time except for bathing and driving because it's their right foot. And that's my blurb. Now, let's say, you know what? I would like to one-click that. All right. So what I would do is I would make a template for plantar fasciitis, and like I have one here for an injection, right? So let's say it's a first visit. I might use this template that is my plantar fasciitis initial discussion, which has in it the diagnosis and my instructions, my basic instructions that I'm going to use for my initial discussion for plantar fasciitis. So I might use that one. And then, you know what? I'm also going to give an injection. So in this injection one, I have the diagnosis again, but that's fine. It's not going to do anything bad. And then I have my injection procedure and 2 medicines. And then I have opened up the procedure section and put a space in it so that when I use this template, plantar fasciitis injection, I got my diagnosis. It puts the procedures for my injection and the medicine, which end up down here in billing, right? That's why you have to order these so that they get billed. And then I have for my in-office injection, my section on 20550. I can, instead of going through procedure and all of that, I can click here, enter my injection for my heel. And you could say, you know what? I'm going to make a plantar fasciitis right injection, plantar fasciitis left injection, and a plantar fasciitis bilateral injection, because it doesn't take me that long to make them. And then I can just click once and have this whole blurb about my injection all done. And I don't have to do anything else. I don't mind. I haven't made that. I do have some. I have a post-op with a left and a right two-view X-ray that when I use them will start an X-ray report for me with at least the right foot, and it's almost always a DP and a lot for my post-ops. So I have that all done. So that gets ordered, and that X-ray report gets started for me by using that template. So that's how you do the ordering. You got to order things you want to get paid for, and then you need to document what you did with those things, just like you always have. I am sure that there are people that don't do any of this and just put all of their stuff here in the treatment section. Yeah. So I can go to my treatment section for my plantar fasciitis, which is where I put this blurb, or I could go into this other section. This is an order set button. This is a notes button, and I can put all of that stuff here. I can put my X-ray report here. I can put my injection documentation here. I can put all of that here if I wanted to. I think it's much easier to put it in a template and put it in sections that are labeled and look reasonable, instead of other X-ray report, injection documentation. I like all this. I think that's a much better looking report, and easier for reviewers to get right to the point.
Mike, when you like that DME, the camwalker,
yes.
As far as all the documentation of the proper terminology, is that when you said CDME dispensing and delivery form? And where is that?
That will be until they broke the iPads with the last update, we did all those forms on the iPad. But what we do now is I would go to this ink button, which takes you to these forms. Oh, I'm having trouble today. But anyway, the ink button would take you to the forms. You can go to your schedule. I think I'm having trouble with the plugins. But anyway, a window would pop up with all your forms. One of them is a DME dispensing form, and you would put in it, the brand of your camwalker and the size and camwalker and for what and whatever. And right now we print it and the patient signs it and we scan it in. Previously, what we did was we'd fill it out, we'd open up the iPad, they'd sign it on the iPad, and it goes right into their chart.
And on that other, that little other form that you're on there, you had notes and clinical notes. I think the notes section, that's the one that's visible to the patients, right? And the
it may be
for the note itself.
I got very confused with that, and really just need to sit down and put something in each of those sections and see where it shows up, because it doesn't seem to be consistent for me. So I skip most of that. And I don't use most of those sections within the order. It certainly may come a time where all this stuff's going to the portal and I should put something on it. But I have not been doing anything with those areas of the note in those internal notes or the notes section. I typically don't do anything with it.
Yeah, where was that again? Where did you click on to get into that?
So maybe here on the X-ray.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here, that thing that says note, that shows up here. This one that says clinical info, I can't see where that shows up at all in the note. And internal notes, I know, are just in internal notes. And for our X-rays, because we read them in-house, I don't put anything in the results or anything in here, which, because I put it in my note, I don't want to type something up, scan it in or whatever, and then attach it here. It's just going to be in my encounter note. The only thing that really does is for your X-rays, it makes it hard to use the button that gives you any previous results, right? So you can't get a previous result on this X-ray in a way, similar way that you might with a bunch of labs. But for me, I don't mind. It doesn't matter to me. I believe that I fixed that. I can show you those forms. Okay, so what will happen is, let's see. DME dispensing form. So we will select our DME dispensing form. It automatically puts the patient's name, date of birth, medical record number. There's a weird bug in this, in that you cannot put that over where other text is being entered, but as long as it is visible, and I'll also put the patient name in here, and the date, and then whatever it is we are dispensing. And then we save it. And then what should happen is you can take the iPad and they can sign it on the iPad, and then it's in the chart and it's done. But what we have to do now is print it and then have them sign it and scan it back in. You can also get to that from the ink button there at the bottom. This is where I do my consent for my nail surgeries. Pretty much all of the consent stuff. I do a lot of, I will do some different letters and things here, although I usually use letters for that more. And when I do my major surgeries, here we go, major procedure consent. I will fill this out for, my bunions and hammer toes, and then send it to the iPad and have the patient sign it when that works, or print it and have them sign it now. So I use these a good bit. They suffer from a number of ECW problems, but they work well enough. that it's worth it, because you don't have to do all the scanning and the filing or anything like that. But that's where all the forms, that's where that DME dispensing form would come from that my assistant does. The iPad will also save your signature, so you don't need to, when that's working, you don't need to sign anything. Your assistant can take care of the whole thing. It's kind of nice. All right. Any other questions? Anything else that we could try to make better?
Yeah, I got to get on there and tool around a little bit and try to get my bearings.
Yep. It takes a little effort, but it's so much faster, and it's so much, has the ability to be so much better than CareCloud. It's just, little bit of time and effort, and I'm cruising along pretty good. I used to run with, anywhere between 15 to 25 charts in my inbox kind of throughout the week, and it's substantially less now. I think it's faster and better. So it's just deep. There's a lot you can do. There's a lot of ways you can do the same thing. So it just takes a little poking and putting your head down to decide which way you're gonna do everything. But we will be here for you as you get started to help.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mike.
Of course. All right, y'all. If we don't have anything else, I'm going to go change the ice packs on the wife's ankle and talk with you all next time.
Thank you.
Thanks, y'all. Bye.
Take it easy.